My name is Pam Steele. I lead the Pamela Steele Associates, which is a management consulting company. We research, we do consulting, and we also focus on workforce capacity development. Now, before this company, I used to work in humanitarian sector, where during the days when I would be supporting the global emergency response, I would see that there were not many women in logistics and supply chain, particularly for humanitarian response. And that was such a challenge because you know well that when disasters happen, often women and children are the ones most affected. It caught my attention that there were very few women in humanitarian logistics, and I did some advocacy over the years to try and increase the numbers of women working in supply chain. I think the advocacy achieved its goal because we worked with the male heads of logistics, who are very enabling, great allies in trying to promote more women into logistics positions. And I've seen some logistics women in the heart of emergency responses, which has made me proud. But then I moved to the development sector in the public health sector supply chain domain. And there also the problem was acute, but different in the sense that I would find that majority of those who work in healthcare supply chain, if you find the women, they were mostly pharmacists. As you know, that majority of who work in the health supply chain in public sectors, particularly in developing countries, are mostly pharmacists. But then you would not find women supply chain qualified readily available. And where it even became of a concern was when I was implementing projects in Africa, Nigeria, Ethiopia, that you will find that at the senior level, particularly the executive level, you will find no women at the board level, at that level, which is a challenge. Early 2022, the people that deliver tasked us to conduct a research on the youth labor market. And there we found that there was a high rate of youth unemployment. So you're talking about three issues here. One of a lack of adequate skilled health supply chain professionals, and then the underrepresentation of women in health supply chain roles, and then the high rate of youth unemployment. So that led us to develop a concept note, which we shared with Reproductive Health Supply Coalition. And fortunately, Reproductive Health Supply Coalition was also keen on addressing issues around youth with the laptop project, the laptop project or laptop scholarship that they normally run every year to sponsor those going to take supply chain qualification. And so they funded the project as a proof of concept, and we set up a project to help young women in particular to access work placement. Now, why women? Again, as I said, that in the health supply chain sector and supply chain in general, women are underrepresented. And then I looked at my surrounding in Kisumu, in Kenya, here where I am, and I saw that there were many youth who qualified with university degree or diploma, but did not have jobs, had looked for jobs for 3-4 years, some even 5 years. Now, they would not access employment because employers want 3, 4, 5, 6 years and above experience. I mean, those who are asking for many years of experience themselves started somewhere. So I thought that suppose we design this project, one, to prioritize women because women are more vulnerable if they don't have jobs. They get into wrong behavior, early marriage, including contracting HIV/AIDS, if they get into other behaviors. So I thought that, while all children are important and boys and girls need jobs, I thought that I would prioritize women because women are underrepresented in the health supply chain, and I am a woman in supply chain. So I would want to have more women around me in this sector. And so we designed the project in such a way that it was going to open doors to, with various employers around the county. We identified 10 different employers here, both private sector and public health sector, hotels, hospitals, all different types of employers. And we set up an agreement with them for them to take these girls, and they could take as many as they wanted, as long as there was going to be someone managing them, and not more than 3 people being managed by one person. So they accepted, and we had 36 girls who we selected, and that was a rigorous process. And we got so many applications. I can tell you within 2 weeks we had over 86 applications, or 80 applications. And yet we did not have any applicant from the employer. We had also done the same for the employers. So it ended up knocking at every employer's doors. And fortunately, they knew that the governor of the state was coming to launch the project, which happened in June 2020, in July 2022, and the project ran up to March 2023 when the girls graduated. So we placed these 36 girls across these 10 employers, and I can tell you that they really appreciated the opportunity. Every 2 months, they would come to us, and we would train them on soft skills, on technical areas that they felt they were lacking on, because they were being mentored on the job, and so we could only identify the areas that they were struggling in. We did train them on that bi-monthly, and then we also linked them to international and national mentors. We sent out a request on LinkedIn for those who are interested to be mentors to contact us, and we had really great response to that, and we linked the girls to these mentors, most of them from Europe, Western world, and they went through some 7-6 sessions of mentoring, and the mentees really found that to be very useful. So all in all, they did 8 months of internship or placement, and at the end of or rather by the end of the 8-month period, out of 36, 13 of them got employed. And I can even report proudly that we have had that although the project ended in March and some were let go, that those same employers have called them back to continue working with them. Some on employment, some are just providing voluntary support, but most of them are earning something. So we have over 13 who are absorbed. And I mean, where do you go, Neti, for internship and come out with a job? It's not so common. But that is what happened. And we're just so proud of the fact that we were able to help over 13 girls get employment within 1 year. The 23 who had not got places still had real hard skills that they gained during the internship, and we are still knocking for doors, at doors for them, so that they can still get placed. But because of the success of the project, we have all now discussed within and agreed that we need to scale this up. So we are trying to scale up the project. This time from 36, we want to do 100 per year, so that in 5 years we will have helped 500 girls in 5 years and in 5 counties within Kenya. And hopefully we can scale up that beyond the borders of Kenya. And I should say here that we are seeking to partner with Village Reach, who also have a strong component of gender initiative, and we've worked together to develop the current scale-up proposal. We are just looking for those who really focus on working with the youth in fact, organizations that are interested in working with the youth to reduce youth unemployment, but mostly those who are keen to empower young girls. Since we started the Girls on the Move project, we have had girls knocking at our doors. And it's not only the girls in Kisumu, it's not only the girls in Kenya. We've had requests from Liberia, from Vietnam, you won't believe it, from Southern Africa, Malawi, girls wanting to join this program. And one, we know that it is a scalable program. We know there are many girls out there in the world, in various African countries, who would benefit from such a program. But, you know, they say charity begins at home. Even by focusing here in Kenya, we would have a big number. But I am even shy to make that call loud without having the resources. You know, if I had the resources, getting the girls is not a problem. As I told you that when we first advertised, within 2 weeks, we had a long list of girls who applied, and most of them were just applying whether they had supply chain qualification or not. And that just tells you the depth of the problem. We would not struggle to get anyone. Of course, it's important that they know that we have the initiative Girls on the Move, which aims to empower them. And when we have the resources, then we will make that call louder and we will post it to all the links where they can see it. But at this point, I am very shy to even make that call. I know the need is greater, but the resources are lacking. And that for me is the desperate situation we are in. As a mother myself, but also as a supply chain person who has seen the lack of women in logistics and supply chain, but the consequences of it. You know, the cost of not having women. If I start talking to you about the impact of not having women in supply chain, in the front line, particularly in emergency context, where women have lost everything, have been raped, running away for their dear lives, or have lost everything and have no one in front of them who can anticipate their needs, who can think in advance that this is a woman of reproductive health age who has been affected, is either in a refugee camp and does not have sanitary pads or does not have family planning products that they've been used to having. If you have a woman in front among the logistics players, they would think about the other woman. A man would perhaps think about it, but they would first think about the technical things, the generator, you know, the vehicles and the computers. But as a woman, if it was you in front of me as a refugee, I would look at you and just say, this is a woman of reproductive health age, or this woman has lost everything. All I have to do is to protect her dignity and not rob her of that which she's left with, the only thing she's left with. And so it's so important that we have women in humanitarian logistics in the front line. We have women at the board level where decisions around procurement of essential products are, for maternal child health is being discussed, how they will be procured, the specification, how they will be distributed, including the equipment that they use. For example, an ambulance. When you expect a pregnant woman to lift their legs up on a high ambulance, as a woman, I would think and say, how can we configure this ambulance to be easily accessible for a pregnant woman to climb, So things like that only a woman would be able to think about. That's why we need more women in humanitarian logistics, but also in public health supply chain.